Okay. Are you hungry? It's okay. Oh. Hello.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Michelle. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus here for a couple weeks from YouTube, and a lot has changed, as you can see behind me, in the weather department and the seasons. We are in full-blown winter. Today is November 30th. Actually, no, it's December 1st today, so I guess that's okay. I'm standing in the Hobbit hut and just wanted to show you, we did get some snow where we have the holes in the roof, as a lot of you noticed when we were building it. That was going to happen, but luckily it's just a small part of the wood that's going to be a bit wet, and really just the tops of it there. So most of our wood is completely covered and dry, which is awesome. We still have a lot of wood. We've burnt through already. We've burnt through this whole wall right here. Oh, I gotta flip the camera around, or I can turn around. This wall behind me, we've burnt through all of the wood. And yeah, we are gonna burn through probably all of this wood, if not more, for this winter. So I'm just gonna take you guys around and show you some things that have happened, some things that how we take care of things here when it's this cold, with the animals. Most importantly, the chickens, obviously. And we have a new member that has just shown up here. It's a feral cat. Now, the funny thing about that is, when it started getting cold, like in the fall, we were noticing that there was some mice in the house, and James and I are not necessarily cat people, so, you know, but if we needed to get a cat, we would get a cat to take care of the mice. That's just how things work out here. So I said to James, you know, if a cat shows up, then we'll have a cat, but I'm not going to go out and look for a cat. Anyway, this feral cat showed up, and as soon as we got the wood burner going, which is right here, that's how we heat our house, by the way. We fill up the wood burner with wood, and it ducks underneath the house and warms the house with wood heat, which is really nice. Anyway, there's a tiny little hole beside the wood burner. I'll bring you over there in a second. And this cat is so smart. It fits in there. It looks like it's almost full grown. I think it was a kitten when it showed up here. And it fits in there, and it snuggles right in. I can actually see its little face, and curls up in there and stays warm. So I wasn't feeding it when it was able to hunt. So I would see it out in the yard, and it would catch mice and birds and whatever else they eat. So I obviously wasn't feeding it then, because I did Google what you're supposed to do with feral cats, and you're actually not supposed to feed them. But I mean, the cat is not going to be able to hunt in this. It will freeze its feet. It's literally -10 right now. My hands are frozen, and I've been out here. This particular segment's about three minutes long. My hands are frozen. So there's no way that this cat's going to be able to hunt. So I've taken it upon myself to feed it. And then I'm going to show you guys the chickens and tell you about what happened with our chickens recently. Hi, Jojo. Okay, so it's probably not going to show its little head, but this is our wood burner. Let's see if I can touch it. It's pretty hot. James takes care of this, but this is where we load the wood in and feed it. Big, huge logs, which we store in our Hobbit hut. I'm good, I closed it. To heat our house. So it's all off grid. And this is where our little cat is taking up residence. Kitty. The dogs are down here, so it's totally not gonna come out right now, but it can get way back in there. And I just think that's like so clever. Clever little kitty. Anyway, I've been giving it milk, cream mixed with water, which is already it. And then I give it a little bit of fish kibble and a few other little snacks in the day just to keep it, because I honestly think that it would die if I don't feed it right now, because it just can't hunt. All right, let's go see the chickens.
Life is wonderfully beautiful. Life is wonderfully
Okay, got my pumpkin and my water. Got my doggies. Let's go to check the chickens. Bob, come on. You can see how deep the snow is. James and I have been shoveling this path. This is the path from the house to the chicken coop. And we've been shoveling it every time it snows. Just so that we can get there. It's pretty crazy. Woo! Here we go. It's winter wonderland. Come on, Bob. Come on, Bob. I don't want you to eat the chicken or the kitty food. Come on, honey. Bob and Clyde are sporting their winter sweaters, as you can see. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Filming solo today, so it's gonna be a little rough. Hi, guys. Good boy. Okay, so as most of you know, if you've been following along for a while, we do have insulation in our chicken coop. This is an R5, so we have the walls and the ceilings insulated for drafts, but the floor boards are still not insulated, so that's where the airflow comes in. I have this little heater that I put on when it's really, really cold, and I just put it on enough to literally keep them from freezing. Like, the water still freezes solid overnight. So it's not like I'm heating the coop, it's more like keeping the chickens from literally freezing to death when it's minus 20 Celsius. Okay, so here is our flock, or what we have left of our flock. If you follow us on Instagram, you will know what's happened here recently, and one of the reasons why we were taking a bit of a hiatus. Our beautiful rooster Poke had to fight off a fox. As you can see, he's lost his entire tail feathers. He's got one bad boy sticking out there. That's a lot of feathers. I will throw in a picture of him when he's looking at his finest, so you can kind of compare. But we almost lost Poke. In fact, I thought we did lose Poke. But we did lose Glenda. So I'll pop a picture of Glenda up. She was our blondie. She was our best layer. Poke's favorite girl. But I wasn't home, unfortunately, when the foxes attacked, or the fox attacked, I should say. But there was 4 piles of feathers. So there was 4 fights that Poke put up, to fend off this fox. And he's able to save these two girls. So this one's Indigo and this one is Brindle. Look what I got for you. Don't be scared. Check it out. It's a pumpkin. Here, I'll put it over here. Something that I have to do for the chickens like 3 times a day, depending on how cold it is switch out their water. I don't have a don't poke at the camera, Brindy. I don't have water bowl heater just because we don't have a lot of plugs. We have literally 1 plug. So this is what the water looks like. It's frozen after a few hours, so just bring them out some fresh stuff. Cool. Okay, story time. It was, gosh, a few weeks ago. Things were starting to get cold. It was probably early November, and I left the chickens. They were happy as can be. They were taking down the rest of the greenhouse, like our last video where I let them come and take down the greenhouse. So that's the last I saw them. Drove into town. I was gone for about 2 hours. I came back and drove up the driveway, and the first thing that I saw was a big pile of feathers, and then I saw another big pile of feathers. So I stopped the car and jumped out, and I was freaking out and couldn't find any of the chickens. And a few minutes later, I found Indigo, the black one, on the top of James's shed on the roof, which is, I don't know if you can see me. Brindo, gotta move over. Boop, boop. She was about 9 feet up on the roof. And I don't know how she got up there, but I mean, if you're trying to get away from a fox, you'll do pretty much anything. Couldn't find any of the other chickens. So we looked and looked, we searched the whole area, went to the neighbors, looked all through the brush, up in the trees everywhere, couldn't find anything. And then it was coming down to sundown, and James was coming to tuck in. We only had this one, the black one. Tuck her in and trying to figure out what we're gonna do, because it's not great to have just 1 chicken. I was actually gonna bring her in the house and keep her in the house with us. And James comes out to tuck her in, and Poke is here, and he's quite badly beaten. He was able to jump up onto his roost, so I think he still had adrenaline going, but he was all bloody and bite marks down his back, and obviously all of his tail feathers were gone, and he was just really beat up. So of course I didn't know what to do, and they were already roosting, so I left them in here for the night. It wasn't too cold. Clyde! And the next day got up, and I could just tell Poke was not okay. He was like hanging his head down. He couldn't keep his head up, and brought him in the house, wrapped him in a towel, brought him in the house. Was taking care of him in the house. We ended up bringing him to the vet, and the next day after we brought Poke to the vet, our neighbor brought Brindle. Brindle had spent the night at our neighbor's house under her tree in hiding, and their border collie found her. So that was a relief. So we had 2 hens, and anyway, yeah, Poke ended up getting antibiotics and painkillers, which we had to administer through a dropper in his beak. I kept him in a makeshift pen in my room for about 3 nights, and then I decided that, well, I'd bring him out during the day for a couple hours to see his hens, because it really seemed to boost his spirits. And I just decided that his best bet was to actually just be with his girls. And I'll tell you, these 2 hens did not leave Poke's side for at least a week. Like every time I would come in, check on them like 10 times a day in here, and wherever Poke was in the coop, both of them or one of them was right beside him. They were grooming him, they were preening him. They were doing everything. They were making sure he was okay, just like being his support. It was the sweetest thing in the entire world. And chickens have feelings. Let me just tell you that right now. And they care. Anyway, to present day, here we are. We've got 3 chickens, 1 rooster, 2 hens. We're getting like maybe 2 or 3 eggs a week. And yeah, happy that Poke's okay. He's mounting his girls again, which it took about 2 weeks till he was doing that. And yeah, now their biggest problem is that it's just too darn cold to go outside. And we have an outside coop, but we don't have it covered. So I'm not sure if it's going to be part of this video or not, but James and I are going to make like a lean-to covered outside area for the chickens to be able to go outside and not have to step their little feet in the snow. And I made them a little dust bath area here. Show you, they're quite enjoying. Hi, Bob. There they are. So I just found some dirt that was, you know, not covered in snow outside. Put some potting soil in there and some diatomaceous earth. And they have a little dust bathing thing that they can do their little socialization, pecking. There's grit in there for them to eat. And just sort of an area for them to hang out in. They're fine to be in the coop as far as I can tell, but they need things to do. Like they get bored and they just need some activity. So that's why I also brought them this pumpkin, which hopefully they'll enjoy soon. We shall see. This is a half of a spaghetti squash from the garden that I had that they ate. They love this, so they pecked all the way through it. You can see their little peck marks. And then I just have this, like, call it my charcuterie board for the chickens. And I just put their food on here, which is just a mixture of things. That's good for them. I think they enjoy it. I give them lots of greens, which they've already eaten. There's a little bit left here, but I grind up in a food processor, just kale and spinach, and mix that in with their food. Sunflower seeds, black fly larvae. This is grit that I buy for the winter that they need, that they can't get to as easily when they're not free ranging outside. Yeah, I think I hear James outside snow plowing, so I guess we can show you guys that. But thanks for listening to my story about the chickens. Now you're all up to date, and Poke is going to take a while to grow back those feathers on his tail to be his handsome self again, but he surely will. He's happy to be alive. Okay. Oh. Go, Clyde. Bye, chickens. Enjoy your foods and your not frozen water. Alrighty. Woo. One of the best investments that we made last year for this homestead was a plow for our side-by-side. Our little, we call it the Bob's Taxi. Our, I don't even know what brand it's called again. John Deere. We use it for everything, including snow removal. So let's go see. James is plowing the driveway. This is something that we have to do every time it snows, otherwise it gets to be too much even to plow. There's so much snow. Here it comes. Hi, James.
Burr.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Thanks for plowing.
You're welcome. Non-stop plowing for the last few days.
I know.
You got like a foot.
I know.
pretty much a foot
I know, it's crazy.
yesterday.
Okay, I'll watch you drive away and then I'm going to show them the garden. Covered in snow. All right, before I wrap up the video, I'm going to show you guys the garden. What a difference. Can't even see it. Can only tell because of the fence, but there it is, completely covered in snow. Like James said, a foot at least. And if you look at the Weather Network for where we live, heavy snowfall warning still to come. It's like, really? Not a heavy snowfall warning already, but okay. This gives you a bit of an idea. This is our picnic table. Yeah, that'd be about a foot, I'd say. And the greenhouse, still looking beautiful, even covered in snow. Just need that sun to come out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We appreciate your support. Stay warm. You don't need a sweater. No, you're built for this. You're built for this weather, George. Where's that cat? Where's that cat? Where's that cat? Hmm? Good girl.